Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started here. I love that you came in on time. We're going to start on time, and it's the top of the hour. So thank you for being on time and getting in here as fast as possible. So one of the things that I wanted to share with everyone is that this is a really timely thing. And there's not going to be any like, oh my gosh, this was earth-shattering ideas. There are no new ideas in real estate. However, I want you to check and recheck where you're headed for 2023. And so I'll give you a couple of ideas, hopefully, that you go, hey, I never thought of that. But more importantly, reinforcing what you're doing and re-examining what you're not doing. Welcome, everyone. I'm Monica Reynolds. I'm excited that you're here. And we're going to be talking about 20 ways to reinforce your team in a shift. Now, these slides that we're going to go through are going to go through pretty quickly because this is a 30-minute call and I've got a whole bunch of slides and a whole bunch of points to cover. The good news is if you look in the chat box, you will see that we have a MAPS YouTube channel. And if you go on YouTube and you need to search it, just go to KW MAPS Coaching and you're going to find all the holiday calls. The other thing is all the holiday calls from MAPS are also going to be available to you. If you signed up, you're going to be receiving links after all the calls are done. So Steph, let's go to the next slide. So the next slide that I want to share with you guys is, this is about me, blah, blah. I've been doing this a long time. And I've been in real estate for over 44 years. I've worked for Dave Ramsey. I ran MAPS coaching for 3 years. I've written 3 books on assistants. I dug the well on that before anybody was writing them. Gary Keller asked me some questions in the 90s. And I said, who's that guy? Because I was speaking at a convention and they go, oh, that's Gary Keller. He's starting a franchise. And I go, good luck with that, right? Okay, so that's a little bit about me. Now, the next slide I want to share with you real quick while we'll wait on a couple of other people to get in. And this slide is important because I've got a 2-day boot camp coming up. It's January 13th and 14th. So it may be hard to read on that slide, but there's a QR code. There's how to find it. This is going to have 21 playbooks. And if you know anything about Mo Anderson, she's going to be there for 2 days. It's going to be really a great event. Linda McKissick, #1 profit share earner, and Keller Williams, she will be there also speaking. So it's a great event. It's single agent, you with an assistant, you with a team. We have one team that has 5 assistants coming. We have a lot of single agents and we have agents and assistants coming. So consider that. There's a QR code for that. All right. Let's get going here. All right, so I divided things up for you to kind of think about. So you got to get to know your team. So as we move into the shift, it's about relationships for the team, but it's also about relationships, absolutely relationships that you have with your clients. So we're going to start with the team first. So next slide, Stephanie. So when you have a team, it's extremely costly to lose team members. And so you're building a community. So take it from me. You got to know each team member's story. And if you haven't done the career visioning process on the story, do that. If you have a team, you might have one person a week talk about their life story, their journey to getting to where they're at. What happened after high school? What was their highest paying job after high school? What did they do? And you're going to see some amazing stories. And that gets everybody to know each other. You got to know why the team members, why do they do this job? What's important about it to them? What's their lifetime goals? What's their life by design? You have to know your team members' financial goals. And so a lot of us, not a lot me personally, but a lot of agents, I should say, will hire a team member and then not know who they are. And then they go, I knew they had 2 kids. I didn't know they had 3. Or they're not finding out their journey of how they got there, or their dream to buy their first house and what they're going to do that. So this is where you're building. So remember, when you look at how you absolutely, reinforce your team, is you got to know who your team is. It's costly to lose them. It's costly to hire wrong. It's costly. So put your arms around your team. They should have a 411 and a personal and business with you once a week. You guys know 411s, that's important. What are their personal goals this week? What are their weekly goals? That keeps everybody in tune, moving the ball forward. Now, number 6 is plan a fun time with the team. So as your team grows, you have to have a fun committee. So Stephanie's on this call. We've worked together for over 13 years. each quarter, we had a different team member. We had about 14 people on our team. We had a different 2 or 3 team members that rotated out of different things we were doing. So fun time with the team. We would go bowling. We'd go on a little cruise around the harbor in San Diego. We did a painting, the wine painting thing. Then number 7, plan community give back once a quarter. And so as a community, as a team, you want to reinforce your team, ask them, where would they like to go volunteer for a day, an afternoon, once a quarter into the community? What a great way to really share those experiences with each other. Remember, it's costly to make a mistake. It's costly to lose people. And when it's all about relationships for the clients and relationships for your team going into a shift. So you want to have monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, next year business planning scheduled before January 5th. And so what you're looking at right now for your calendar for 2023, schedule your monthly meeting, schedule your quarterly meeting, schedule your semi-annual, and then your business planning should be sometime in October 2023. Should you have a weekly meeting with the team? Absolutely. Should it be like Tuesdays at 10 o'clock? Absolutely. And then there's a monthly recap meeting where you go over the goals and how you met them or what the gaps were. And then the team has to create their own mission, vision, and values, and beliefs and perspectives. And so this is your culture. Your culture can also be lead generating. Your culture can also be, that you volunteer once a quarter. You have to set the pace as the rainmaker, what the culture is. So, for example, when you sit down with your team, authorship is ownership. You can get the mission, vision, value, belief, perspectives, online for KW. For team 1, you can reach out to me at monica@monicareynolds.com. I'll send you what mine was. The bottom line is authorship is ownership. You want to get a whiteboard or a big poster board and have everybody contribute. You can't just say, here's our mission, everybody, accept it. You build it together. And you keep team members by having wealth building conversations, like, being in tune to their financial situations. They've got school debt, they've got credit card debt, they're trying to save for a house. You got to know what's going on in their world. Okay, next one. Let's talk about marketing. So as I'm going through this, kind of be thinking about, okay, again, like I said, not earth shattering, but there's some power coming in here right now. So first is, don't lose team members, know who they are, build a community. Now, I'm going to show you what's going to happen when we get to reviews and referrals, how each team member more than pays for themselves. Now, in marketing, okay, have your 2023 marketing cadence laid out month by month right now. So you take a calendar 2023. So for example, an email goes out on the 5th of the month. The video goes out on the 19th. Facebook ad once a week on Thursdays. Open house the 2nd and 4th Sunday. And then marketing with that. What is your plan? And then obviously your client appreciation party should go in there too. And all these are now scheduled by January 5th as you get closer. Now, what you want to make sure is that you also are looking at all sources of business and ROI. Now, as you hear me and you have questions, put it in the chat box. I'll try to get back to those as fast as I can. Have your client appreciation parties by January 5th all set up for next year. So January 5th, 2023, you've got them all laid out. And then I'm always a proponent, and I teach all the time, to have a zero budget, meaning your vendors, and I understand RESPA law as good as anyone, better than most, is that I know what they can pay for. Vendors can support marketing. They can support lead generation. They can support client events. They're not giving you money. They're not sending you a check. They're paying for those different things. So you're going to review all sources of business. That's critical. And what happens is we do something great and then we forget that we did that and we're off to the next squirrel. So understanding your sources of business and then really figuring out, how do I double that? And on the rate of investment or rate of return, you have to make sure that if you're paying for XYZ for lead generation, are you getting a 4 times return? I know agents that are spending over $10,000 a month to Zillow, and they're just breaking even. Is that a good use of money, or could you use that money somewhere else? So again, reinforcing for the shift, you got to make sure whatever you're spending on marketing, whatever your sources of business, it makes sense. And maybe now's the time to look at some of that marketing and say, you know what, we're not going to do Zillow. We're going to do postcards once a month. We're going to do a really nice VIP client appreciation party. Take them out somewhere, blah, blah. Please hear this loud and clear. Know your sources of business from last year. Know what it cost you to get that business if you're paying for marketing and leads. And then really schedule your marketing plan in the cadence for this next year. It's all about the cadence. And so you're not going, hey, what are we going to do this month? Oh, let's send out an email. Oh, let's send out a video. You've got to have that cadence down. So you set your goal for your database to grow by at least 1,000 people. Gary says a minimum of 3 new contacts every day. Now, for example, a contact is a complete name, address, phone number, and email. Name, address, phone number, and email. If you don't have completes, this is where you and the team get on top of it. So when you are reinforcing yourself and your team, it's all about the database. It's your only asset. Get everyone involved to find all the missing information. You might have a name and a phone number. Call them, get the rest of it. Where do they live? What's their email address? Get the rest of it. The whole team can get involved in that. So reinforcing, again, is a marketing cadence plan, setting it all in advance, knowing your sources of business and knowing what it cost last year for any of your lead generation systems, okay? Now, on this next page, it's 0 budget for client events. And I just kind of mentioned that. And so if you start with that, all of a sudden you will start spending less when you say, I wonder if this vendor could help me. I'm going to call them and say, because I'm going to say, hey, John, I know I gave you 15 title orders last year. Love working with you. I'd love for you to help me with a vendor, with a client appreciation party. Would you be willing to supply the wine? Would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to do that? Ask. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you don't ask, the answer is no. And if you ask, the answer could be yes. All right. Okay. Budget established for each month for marketing, not to exceed 10 to 12% of GCI. What? I know, but you think about that, you know, you've got to be careful. There's some people, I talked to someone the other day and they had spent 50% of their income on marketing. That is not going to get you through the shift. Shift is about relationships. Shift is about getting comfortable with uncomfortable. The phone's the cash register. Pick it up and talk to people. Find out what's going on in their world. Can I help you? What real estate questions you have? Oh, by the way, my business is based on referrals from great people like you. So let's go to production now. So remember, you're going to get copies of all of this. So don't get upset. You're going to get a copy of all of this when you get the recording. And yet, let's go to number 16. Thanks, Steph. Here's where I want you to hear me. When you have team members, they know people. And true story, I was talking to a team 2 weeks ago, and I asked a buyer agent how many people in his cell phone. So if you have an iPhone, you just scroll to the bottom. He has 850 in there. Listen to my story. How many in your Facebook? He said 2,500. I went, okay. And then he goes, what about Instagram? And I go, okay, Instagram, 3,200. And then I said, anything else? He goes, well, my wife has even more. And I go, really? Okay, great. So now if you kind of listen to those numbers, we're at 6,000. His wife's got maybe 8,000. Well, let's just say there's a lot of duplicates. Let's say it's 3,000. I'll just go with that over the 12,000. We'll narrow it down to 3,000, whatever. Listen to this. I said to him, he sold 40 houses, great buyer agent on the team. I said, how many referrals did you get from your friends, past client, center of influence? People you know outside of, like, you go to church, you know these people. You go work out, your kids go to daycare, you live in a neighborhood, your wife, your spouse, your significant other does these things or works there. Who do you guys know? What's interesting to me is that every single person on your team should bring in one qualified buyer or seller each month. So on this team, not to throw anybody on the bus. Now, on this team of 21, they had 18 personal referrals out of 21, which says nobody's paying attention to who they know. They're so busy looking at the new business, so busy taking care of the business that comes in from the sign calls, the internet. They're not looking at their sphere of influence. Who are the people they know? So when you look at that, I want you to ask your team members, who do you know? Each person on my team had to come up with 300 names of their friends, family, past co-workers, people they know at church, daycare, whatever it was, church choir, whatever. Come up with 300 names, address, phone number, and email completes. And those are going to be what your network is. However, we're going to have a tab in our CRM that says this is your database. And yet we're going to infiltrate it into all the things we're doing. And so hear that loud and clear. Business is so easy to find, and we're looking over the fence all the time, and it's right there. So take that as some advice. Now, real estate's a math equation. So here's your other checkup from the neck up, as they say, right? You need to know how many contacts to a lead. Okay, Steph, can you cut that? Thank you. You need to have contacts to appointments, connects to appointments. So for example, when you connects is when I say contact people, oh, I left them a message. That's not a contact. Connections, like having a phone voice and having a call. Connections. So when you do, so here's some old rules, which are coming back into play now. 150 connections, conversations is easily 2 leads. And a lead now is someone who future paces and says, yeah, we'll do something sometime, maybe next year, maybe not. So that's a lead to me, because it's the shift and people are a little uncertain and they're not moving as fast as they should with a quick decision. Yeah, why don't you, if they say yes, stay in touch, that's going to be a connection. That's going to be a lead. So 150 contacts, conversations to 2 leads, which equals 1 appointment. Now listen to this. Takes 2 appointments to get 1 listing. If you're lucky. I'm hearing agents going on 3 or 4 appointments to get 1. So you have to know how many appointments to a listing contract to a sold. So do you have 2 listings and 1 sells for sure? What are your ratios? As we go into the shift, this is a valuable piece to understand. Listing contracts to sold, buyer appointments to buyer broker agreements. The just do it form is in front of you right there, and it's a little hard to read. This is a tracking system, and you can email me at monica@monicareynolds.com, and I'll send this to you. But if you can blow it up later. Basically, this is a tracking system that we would literally tape on our desk or on the wall, because they'll get feet and walk away and you'll lose it. Every time we had a conversation, we made a slash mark, and it listed all the appointments, all the leads every day. So it's a really fine-tuned system. Now, Command and some of the other CRMs, great. If you can use it that way somewhere in there, great. You need to track every single day. And how many contracts written to a buyer, contract closed. I've talked to agents where they have some buyer agents right now writing contracts, 4 or 5 before they can get one accepted. Still that kind of a market where the sellers are a little more stubborn than they should be. So on the next page, and number 18 is a vendor commitment. Why can't you get 1 email again? Monica@monicareynolds.com, right there on my screen. So Monica, MONICA @monicareynolds.com. So the vendor commitment, go ahead, Steph, there you go. This is a commitment for your vendor to support you and bring you business. So I'd love to put in there 1 a month, and hopefully you get 1 a quarter. If squeaky wheel gets the grease, and say, I'd love for you to support me. By the way, how many people in your company? Great. I'd like their phone, email, and addresses, please. I'd like to market to them saying that I am the realtor that supports their business, and I'd like to know how I can help them. So get that. So our termite company had about 42 employees, the one we were using all the time. We got a few deals out of them every year. And their employees knew that if they knew of anyone thinking about buying or selling, we were their chosen one. They had other realtors, but we made the effort stronger. Okay, next one, 15th protocol. In the shift, if you hear this, how to reinforce your team is watching the numbers. And more importantly, on the 15th of the month, if you're behind, you got options. Your team knows what to do. So you could take option number 1. Contacts go to 30, not 20 a day. You block one evening, one each week for 3 hours. Calling, like 4:30 to 7:30. Face-to-face with 3 FSBOs each week. You will get something, I guarantee you. Direct message 12 people per day in Facebook or in your cell phone. 6 hours of open houses each week. Wow. You will get something going, I promise. And then as you go to option number 2, it gets a little tougher. 44 contacts to previous clients, direct message. So all of these are just super, super, super great. And if it's the 15th of the month and you were supposed to take 2 listings and you haven't taken any, do you think one of these options would be helpful? I would hope so. And so listening to me right now, when you think about the people, you think about the marketing, and importantly about production. So those 3 things are really critical. So it's shoring up your team. Hiring, firing is very costly, draining, costs you a lot of money. When you look at the next part of that in marketing, make sure you're marketing at the right thing. I've heard some people throwing money around like crazy on some different ventures and things. And I'm going, why are you doing that? Let's analyze that first. Let's put a budget for the first quarter. So when you're looking at what I'm talking about, what is the return investment on any of the money you spend on marketing? And it might be you didn't budget anything for marketing. So, a just sold card or just listed card going out only works if you are committed to doing it for 1 year. So you set the budget there. There's a card that a lot of the mega producers use. It's called Richard did it again, or Jane did it again, or Fred did it again. And it's a picture of you with your name, did it again, with a sold sign or with a for sale sign. So it's promoting a listing or a sold. And you're sending that out to a specific database every single month. So anything in marketing that you make a commitment to, you've got to make a commitment. You go, well, I did it for 1 month. It didn't work. I didn't get anything. You only get things in marketing with the call behind it. So you'll get a 1% return in the mailing. You're building your brand. You're building name recognition. If you call behind it, then you're going to get a 3 to 5% conversion. So it's much better to do that. Okay. And so on production, you have to commit to do things you're not used to doing. You have to get comfortable with uncomfortable. If you look at the phone and you go, oh, I gotta make some calls. No, you look at the phone and go, cha-ching, that's my cash register. Smile dial, make a pile. Embrace lead generation at the highest level like you've never done before, or you will not be in real estate at the end of next year. You have to change your mindset. You are here to help people with the American dream. You are here to ask for help. A lot of agents say, oh, I don't really like asking for help. You're not asking for help. You're saying, I'd like to, help people with the American dream. Who do you know right now? We know in all professions, whether it's a doctor, attorney, school teacher, there are rotten eggs in every professional. And so in real estate, why would you allow someone that who knows someone who's buying or selling to go off with one of those other people, those rotten eggs? Tell people you're passionate about helping people. You want to help someone. And you say to them, who do you know right now? Who do you know is thinking about buying or selling real estate? I'd love to do anything I could to answer their questions. Get comfortable with asking. Okay, reviews and referrals. Okay, so here's the next one. You have to role play the scripts, okay? And your goal is 1 referral from every current buyer and seller. Now, write down the name Mike Hicks, Hicks. If you go on YouTube, put that name in the search bar, you're going to see his promise. He gets 1 referral from every current client. And that should be your goal, is asking for reviews and referrals from every current client. Get comfortable with the script. Thank you so much, for working with our team. We so appreciate it. May I ask you a favor? Our business is based on great reviews. And thank you for noticing we did what, blah, blah, blah. When somebody says something nice, you strike then and you ask for the review. You don't wait till the end of the transaction, because we all know that can be a little difficult sometimes. When you're going through the process, after you've signed the listing, you say, by the way, I'd love to ask you a favor. During our time together, on a scale of 1 to 10, we will do everything to make this a 10 plus experience. We know it's real estate and people, things can happen. And we want to make sure we're doing a great job. We're going to ask you from time to time how we're doing. Is that okay with you? And they go, great. I'm just paraphrasing the promise. So because I used to use it. And then I say, okay, so let me ask you a favor. I'm committed to a 10 plus, my team is. Can I ask you during our time together, would you help me find one buyer or seller that I could help? And they go, sure. And I go, great, I'll ask you from time to time about that too. So you have to role play these things with your assistant. You have to role play these things with your team members. You absolutely, if you're the rainmaker, you're the leader. And you should have the goal to get, so if you're going to sell 40 houses this year, get 40 referrals. That's a good goal. Why not? Why not? And some people will give you more than one. Each member on your team, assistants, buyer agents, IS, whoever happens to be on your team, should help you with who they should have a list of who their top 25 clients are, who their top 50 are, who their top 100 are. And so there is a form that I have. And if you want that, you can email me at monica@monicareynolds.com. And it determines who your top 25, 50 clients are. So how is people that's given you referrals, more than one, maybe, people who have also done multiple transactions with you. I had a guy that called him the divorce man. You know, every 2 or 3 years he was divorced and marrying someone even younger than the last wife. Oh, he's a great guy. Very, very profitable for me to know him. And so you're assessing a value to those clients. So here's your little bonus tip. Your database is your most important thing, and that's what you have to focus on this year immediately, right now. Clean that up, call people on the holidays. You want to put together a, in your CRM, you can create a field with a $sign. And every time someone buys a home from you, sells a home from you, put your commission in there. When they send you a referral, add the commission in there. So if I was going to buy your database, I could see the 50 clients you sold this year and how much money you earned on each one of them. And then when they sold again, then they earned. So I would have people in my database that were worth over $100,000. I'd have people that were worth $40,000. It changes how you talk to people when you do that. Now, here's your bonuses on your shoring up your business and reinforcing your team in a ship. You got to look at every expense. And you got to say, why do I have that expense? What is the return on that expense? How do I eliminate it? Who else could pay for it besides me if I'm going to keep it? So the goal is to eliminate 10% off your finances every month. And so there's all these little stupid charges that people start looking at, or they start saying, oh, why do we have this? And we haven't used that in a long time. And we're getting charged $8 a month. And this one is $22 a month. Let's just get rid of some of this stuff. So this is a really important thing to shore up your business for that also. Okay, next slide, Stephanie. So real quick, and I'm going to go answer some of these questions. There is a real estate assistant training that I do, and I've done it for years. It's through Keller Williams. It starts March 15th. More importantly, though, let's go to the next slide. You don't have to wait till then. January 13th and 14th, you could come to Austin. I have a 2-day boot camp with 21 playbooks. Get ready, get right for 2023. These will give you the systems that you will have the plug and play books for every single thing in your business, from social media to listings to client for life. You name it, we've got it. To wealth building, all the playbooks are there. If you have any questions, you can email me at monica@monicareynolds.com also. Love to have you come. And again, Mo Anderson, if you know who she is, she owns Keller Williams with Gary. She's a part owner. She will be there. She's an icon. She's going to talk about culture. And then we've got Linda McKissick, who's the absolute number one profit share earner. And she's going to talk about how she built her business. Okay, so let's take those screens down real quick, Stephanie, and let me see if I can get some things in the chat box. Okay, so anyone in Portugal? Okay, yeah. Hey, what about Argentina? They won the World Cup there. That was pretty exciting. All right, so here's the bottom line. When you look at all of those, my internet's unstable here when you look at all of those different things we talked about, I want to go back through a couple of things. Team members are expensive to replace. Know who they are. Get to put your arms around your team members. Doesn't that make sense? Know who they are. Know what their goals are. Do they have debt like college debt, school debt? Do they have debt like big credit cards? Help them with that. That's how you build a team who cares about your business too. So there's your byproduct on that. The other thing that I really want you to hear is about the reviews and referrals. Each team member should be bringing in one per month from their sphere of influence. And if you have that culture and you have that drive, you know, I've always said to my assistants and Stephanie on this call, make more money in referral fees, licensed assistant, than you do in your salary. Go get it, make it happen. And the key thing too is on your marketing. Be very careful what you're doing on marketing. This is a relationship business. Pick up the phone, talk to people. When you figure out who are your best 25 clients, I'm going to give you another suggestion to reinforce your business. Take one out for lunch a week. So if you have 50 top clients, you're taking one out for lunch a week. If you have 100, you're taking one out on Tuesday, one out on Thursday. Now, I always did this, and I never did pickup and delivery. That's pizza, right? What I did was I said, what's your favorite restaurant, John? I'd love to meet you there on Tuesday. Why don't we go at 11:30? Let's just have a quick lunch. I'd love to say hello. Now, it's all about them. How are you? How are you? How are the kids? How the business? What can I do to help you? How, right? And then toward the end, as I'm paying for the check, I said, gosh, I was glad to spend time with you. And you've been such a great supporter. Just please remember me if you know of anyone thinking about buying or selling. You are gluing them down moving forward. People want to see you. They want to engage with you. Okay. All right. So when you look at this, I want you to think about this. There's no secrets to real estate. It's about systems. It's about systems. And how you treat people is critical to the success of your business. And how your team treats people and how you treat your team trickles into how they treat your clients. So in every transaction you do, you should get a referral. And every single month, you should get a referral from your team, each team member. You should get a referral from your vendors. So thinking outside the box, reinforcing. Now, we all went through a fast-paced market and buyers and sellers were everywhere. Not so much anymore. They're a little uncertain. So you're going to have to circle your arms around your team and say, who else can help here? Watch how you spend money and make sure that it's, you know, for me, for example, I say it's really smart to have a marketing budget. It's really smart to have an education budget. Love for you to come to Austin, January 13th and 14th. It's absolutely going to be one of the best events you could invest in to move your business forward. So I appreciate everyone on the call. I know the time is up now. And so it would be really important that if you are really, really interested in taking your business to the next level, I guarantee you coming to Austin will be a great investment. Okay. With that said, everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy everything. And I can't wait to see you hopefully on some future calls. And if not, come to Austin for sure. Okay, happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for joining my call today. Thank you. You bet. Bye-bye. Hopefully that was helpful. Bye.